So let me see this now. And just make sure that you can always hear me, okay?
Yeah, I'll let you know in case it breaks up.
Right. So good morning, everyone, and thank you for turning up this morning for this presentation on starting your own business or business development. My name is Eamon Coyle, and the name of my company is Eamon Coyle Consultancy. So what qualifies me to prepare and deliver this seminar this morning is the fact that I have done 2 master's degree in business studies, one of them being an MBA, and I also have 30 years experience, and I worked in most departments of companies. So I have a lot of education and I have a lot of experience, and I did 2 theses on business development and business excellence. So I'm pleased to deliver this presentation to you this morning, and in the hope that you will benefit from it and help you to develop and improve your business. So I'm going to cover the most important thing about business is leadership. Unless there is proper leadership, then you won't have a business. And that is the most important thing. And if you have the right leadership, the right management structure, everything else will fall into place. This morning, we're going to look at leadership, the business idea, the 4 P's of marketing, market analysis, competitor analysis, your unique selling point, and your sustainable competitive advantage. And then I'll have a look at accounts. So it's going to be an overview. So sit back and enjoy it. Leadership. Okay, there are many definitions of leadership, and we could spend the next 20 years talking about leadership. So I've kept it simple, and I have this simple definition. Leadership in business is the capacity of a company's management to set and achieve challenging goals. So you set and you achieve challenging goals. You take fast and decisive actions when needed. You outperform the competition, and you, above all, inspire your team to perform at the highest that they can possibly perform at. So that's a good definition of leadership relative to business leadership. Now, this is a book by David Goggins, and David Goggins is a famous American athlete, and he has come through a tough time, and he developed into a world famous athlete and a presenter. David wrote the book, Can't Hurt Me, Master Your Mind and Defy the Odds. So David, through self-discipline, mental toughness and hard work, David Goggins transformed himself from a depressed, overweight young man with no future into a US Armed Force icon and one of the world's top endurance athletes and public speaker. In this book, David said that most of us only tap into 40% of our true potential. So we're all only performing at 40% of what we are capable at. And if you disputed that figure, and if you think it's better, then that's fine, because none of this is an exact science. So let's say it's not 40, then let's say it's 60. If it was 60%, then you're still losing out on 40. Before I get into the theory or technicalities of business, I'm going to just give you some quotations. And I'd like you to think about those quotations. Also, I'm recording this presentation, and it'll be there for you to look over it at a later date if there's something that you didn't understand during the presentation. Robbie Burns was a famous Scottish poet, and he said in his Scottish slang, "Oh, would some power the giftie gie us to see ourselves as others see us?" In other words, oh, would some power the gift to give us to see ourselves as others see us? What that quotation is saying is that self-awareness is very difficult to come by, and we generally don't understand ourselves the way that other people understand us. That is, the people that know us really well. So what Robbie Burns is saying, God, give us the gift so that we can see ourselves the way that others see us. And that is an important discovery. Thomas Sowell said, it takes considerable knowledge just to realize the extent of your own ignorance. So in order to understand how little we do know, it takes an awful lot of knowledge to understand that. Then the Swiss psychologist Carl Jung said, the most terrifying thing is to accept ourselves as we are completely. So none of us really want to admit what we're really like. This other Russian or Ukraine lady, a famous writer, poet, said, to know yourself, you must sacrifice the illusion that you already do. So she again is kind of reiterating what the previous scholars said, that in order to understand yourself, you have to give up the idea that you already know who you are. And the French philosopher Pascal said that all men's troubles derive from not being able to sit in a quiet room alone. So what it's saying is that we're so busy, we have no time for meditation or contemplation. So this is a document that I've put together, a model that I put together for leadership. And basically the way that this works is I have listed the traits, characteristics, and attributes of a competent leader on the left-hand side. And in all, I came up with 35, between 35 and 40. And none of us are perfect, so you can't have all of them. But certainly you'll need to be strong in about 20 of them anyway, because there is many books written about the 20 indispensable traits, qualities, characteristics of a leader. So the way that this template works is that you can't self-evaluate yourself. You won't get the right results. So what you have to do is take this template, give it out to about 6 people that know you really well and have your best interest at heart. And you have to select those people very carefully. There's no point, for example, to send it to somebody whom you know that doesn't like you, because they will mark against you. So on the left there, you'll see the characteristics. So I did this plenty of times with plenty of business leaders. Frank was one of them. So Frank is a visionary, and then your people that you've selected will score you as very strong, average, weak, or very weak relative to that trait. Then competence in the chosen business, energetic, because you have to be energetic to be a leader. Persistence with the right strategy, once you agree on the right strategy, that you're not chopping and changing all the time. Listening is an important quality. Ability to withstand setbacks, ability to switch off and relax, social interpersonal skills, organizational skills. And those are the traits on the left-hand side. So a blank document doesn't tell you a lot, but if I get 6 of them back fully completed, then we have something to work from. And then we will find out exactly what you are like as a leader. So invariably, you'll end up with a gap because you will have shortcomings, and none of us are perfect. So you'll have shortcomings. So then we'll agree, where are the shortcomings? And then we will prepare a personal development plan, continuous professional development, and then you will close the gap. And it's an ongoing process. You can't close the gap overnight. In fact, it's a lifetime job. And for example, I'm accredited with Engineers Ireland, and part of the requirement of being accredited to Engineers Ireland is that I have to do 35 hours of CPD every year and register it and prove that I've done it. Continuous professional development. So this provides you with the gap. It shows you your weaknesses as a leader, and it shows you where you then need to start improving. Another quotation. Who said, genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration? So the moral of that quotation is that any one of us can be a genius, any one of us, if we select what we're naturally good at, and if we invest the time in it. We can all be geniuses. Thomas Edison said that. That is the famous American inventor. He's got something like 1,000 inventions to his name. So he said that if you want to be a genius, give it everything, and you too can be a genius like he was. Carl Jung said that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life. So most of what we do, we're not even aware of it. We do it subconsciously. So Carl Jung suggests that we make the unconscious conscious. Another quotation from John Maxwell, who was another author on leadership and a public speaker: growth is the great separator between those who succeed and those who do not. When I see a person beginning to separate themselves from the pack, it's almost always due to personal growth. So personal growth is very important. And Albert Einstein said that the measure of intelligence is the ability to change. So, personal development plan, find out your weaknesses through other people. Don't try it yourself. We're not capable of self-assessment. So, Lionel, I'll take a break there then, and I'd like you to explain, or if you have any questions, or give me your opinion on what you've heard so far.
Yes, so I've been developing for the past 3 years. I've been doing online courses and investing a lot in my personal development. And now it makes all sense what you just explained. Because as a business owner, I had to learn digital marketing, also focus on the service itself, on the health and safety aspect of the business. So now it makes a lot of sense why there should be a lot of personal growth as to be a leader.
Yes, leadership can be learned.
Yes.
And the point thank you for that information. And the point that I'm making here is that there are certain qualities that leaders need. And it's important to find out what you are truly like as a leader, in the sense that you will take this model and you will have people fill it in for you. And then you will look at what they said. But it's confidential in the sense that you will send it to them and then you will ask them to post it to a person, so that it has to be confidential in the sense that whoever fills it in for you, you will never know what they said, because I would convert the 6 results into 1 and you'd only see the final product and you wouldn't know what anybody said. And then you'd be able to hone in on the areas where they suggested that you need to improve. So yes, you agree that personal development is very important.
So you would send this to your business partners, or to whom would you recommend?
Well, look, if you have a good friend that has your best interest at heart, right, and that knows you really well, you could ask him to fill it in for you. You could ask your wife to fill it in for you. You could ask your sister. You could ask your business partners. But you got to be very careful, because whilst we all have friends, we also all have people that just don't like us. And if you ask one of them to fill it in for you, they will score you badly as retaliation. And that then means that you will get wrong results. So you need to carefully select who you will get to fill that in for you. Do you understand?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, because otherwise you will end up with false information.
Yeah.
And you also need to get people that are reasonably intelligent and that has a good understanding of personalities and people and business, to get them to fill it in. You can't just give it to anyone.
Exactly.
You appreciate that?
Yes.
Because you don't want to end up with distorted results.
Exactly. Which is why I've asked, is it not better to send 3 to some of my existing customers, which I've known them for the past 6-7 years.
Yeah, they would do it, but then they would then have to send it back to me, in the sense that you'd have to say to them, I would like you to fill this in honestly, and then put it in an envelope, and don't put your name on it, Don't put any identification on it and post it to me. And then I will then take 6 of them and compile them into one, and you will see the final one. And then you won't know who said what. It's confidential. Like you will only, you will send out 6, but you will only see the final result. Yeah. And they would have to know that, because they would be fearful, kind of saying, geez, let's say that you're poor at organizing and that you're a weak organizer, and they all mark you a very poor organizer, for example, right? Then they'd be thinking, God, if I say that that Lionel is a poor organizer, and if he finds out that I said that, he won't be very happy. So it's purely confidential. And then once I will get all the 6, I will transfer all 6 into one master, and then I will put all 6 in the bin, tear them up and put them in the bin. I'll have no record of them. Okay. But anyway, if you want to improve as a leader, which we all need to do, these are some of the things that you can do in order to improve your leadership skills. Right. First of all, you have to accept that improvements are necessary and making a decision to improve. So first of all, you got to say, right, I've now accepted that improvements is necessary and I want to make the improvements, and I'm going to make the improvements. Right. Emotional, social, interpersonal leadership skills, they can be learned. So if somebody is a poor communicator, poor at interpersonal skills, poor at listening, those skills can be learned. Meditation is excellent. Meditation and guided imagery. If you do 15 to 30 minutes twice a day, you're giving up an hour of your day to meditate, but you'll get it back. So for example, if you were working a 10-hour day, and if you then decided, right, okay, I'm still going to continue working 10 hours, but I'm going to dedicate 1 hour to meditation. I'm going to dedicate 1 hour to meditation. So you're working for 9 and you're meditating for the other hour, half an hour in the morning and half an hour in the evening. You will get that hour back, because your productivity within the 9 hours will increase and you will become more effective. And there is a CD by Dr. Andrew Weil and Martin Rossmann. And that is an excellent CD that teaches you how to meditate and to do guided imagery. I have that CD. I listened to it quite a number of times, and it's excellent. You do a continuous professional development plan. You work with a professional coach. You exercise regularly, and you follow a healthy diet. And Robert Henry said that there is no art without contemplation. So contemplation is a form of meditation. So they're the things that you can do if you want to improve as a leader, as a business leader. You can take any one of them, or take all of them, in fact, all of them, and work on those, and you will get the benefits. And you'll start to get the benefits after, say, 4 months. If you do this intensely for 4 months, you'll see the benefits coming in after 4 months. And then you'll continue doing all of this, and the benefits will keep coming in. So do you have any comment on that, Lionel?
Not at the minute, no. I mean, bullet point number 1, I've kind of accepted that I need to improve.
Yes.
But I'm having difficulties with the last bullet point, to be honest.
Exercise regularly and follow a healthy diet.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's critical. Like, that's not just important. That bullet point is critical.
It is indeed, and I've actually, it's one of my main areas this year where I'm trying to focus, but it's getting so hard in trying to manage the business. And so yeah.
Well, the health service, and they talk about the health service, and they blame the health service for the poor health service and how poor they are. Well, everybody that blames the health service, if all of those people exercised regularly, followed a healthy diet, did relaxation, stopped smoking, didn't drink alcohol, did meditation for an hour a day, 2 sessions of 15, 30 minutes a day, then that would solve the world's health problems.
That's interesting.
Oh, do you agree with that or do you disagree with it?
I would, but where did you get the time? That's
Yeah, but the thing is, right, what I said to you earlier on, where do you get the time? If you do all of this, you will become more productive. You will become more productive. Like, for example, I go to work every morning, right? The first thing I do, I go into the office, I go there at 6:30. The first thing I do, I put the kettle on and then I change into my training gear and I power walk for 40 minutes. I do that every morning.
every morning.
And yeah, well, 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. I might now take a break on a Monday because I exercise at the weekend. On a Saturday, I do an hour and a half of jogging, press-ups, sit-ups. And I might not go out on the Monday. But one of the things that I find about exercise, on Thursday morning, I was in Sligo and it was freezing. And I just really wanted to go out jogging for an hour and a half, jogging in the country to do press-ups, sit-ups, and stretches and jogging. And like, I didn't want to go out. I just didn't want to go out. But once I got dressed up and I went out, it was so cold and I was kind of wishing, God, when am I going to warm up? And after 20 minutes, I had warmed up and I really enjoyed the next hour. And I came back and I felt so good. So if you exercise regularly, follow a healthy diet, do meditation, contemplation, you will become more productive. Anyway, so you'll get the time back.
Fair play.
That's a fact. I mean, there is no art without contemplation. So you need to be creative in your business. You need to be constantly staying ahead of the competition. You need to be creative. And one of the things that's going to help your creativity is the points, the bullet points that are there in front of you.
Makes sense.
Well, okay. All right. So one of the things that you're going to need in business, right, is you're going to need to have a competitive advantage. And a competitive advantage can be short-term or sustainable. Sustainable means that it'll last forever. So how do you get a competitive advantage and how do you maintain it? That is staying ahead of your competitors. So there are various ways that you can do it. So one of the ways to do it is to go back to this slide and have proper leadership and follow the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 6 bullet points that are listed there. Now, other ways that you can get a competitive advantage is through creativity and innovation. And creativity and innovation comes about through meditation, prayer, and contemplation. By having good teamwork in the company, and every company will tell you that they have got great teamwork, but they might not have great teamwork when you look underneath the bonnet. It has to be genuine. It has to be authentic teamwork. Company culture is the most critical thing in a business with any number of people working in it. Drucker said, Porter came up with strategy, corporate strategy. Porter, Mintzberg, these people design corporate strategy. But Drucker said that culture is far more important than any strategy. Culture will eat up strategy. Unless you have the right culture, strategy won't work. You need proper leadership, which we spoke about. You need to be able to network because no man is an island and we all need customers and suppliers. So you need to be able to network and create new business. External linkages is the same thing. External linkages is connected to the outside world. CPD, continuous professional development. Location, where you're located, whether you're located online and if you're retail. They say if you're retail, that only 3 things matter. If you have a retail shop and you're selling to the public, that only 3 things matter. Location, location, location. So in your work, location is important. Where you're located, are you located online? Have people got easy access to you? And location is important, having good location. Training programs, continuous professional development, and as Einstein said earlier on, the ability to change is the sign of intelligence, the measure of intelligence. So there's the things that you could be honing in on now to really develop your business. Do you have any comments on any of that?
Not at this point. I will have a lot at a later stage in relation to the company culture.
Well, it's critical, right? This is what I'm going to say to you. Company culture is the most important thing in a company. If you have good leadership and healthy culture, everything else will fall into place. Culture is critical. All right, these are things that you need to be aware of in business, right? The 4 P's of marketing: product, place, price, promotion. So product, I think that you're providing a service more than a product, and that's okay. Product, service, whatever it is that you are providing. Now, it needs to be a product that people want. It needs to be in demand, and you have to be aware of the product life cycle. So you see the curve there on the right. So a product is introduced, it grows, it reaches maturity, and it then declines, and it goes out of fashion. So at the bottom left-hand side, I don't know, do you remember them? You might not remember them.
I wouldn't.
Right, you wouldn't. You're too young. You're lucky.
Yes.
I remember them, right? I remember them things. And they used to break so many times, and you needed a pencil. And you put a pencil in the middle, and you turn it around, and then you took out the 2 ends of the tape, and you cut it, and you got super glue, and you glued it back together, and you'd lose maybe 30 seconds of your song, but you had to live with that. Now they're all gone now, but I remember when they came in, and I remember when they were in big demand. So they were superseded by bigger cassettes. They were then superseded by the CD. They were then superseded by the DVD, and now it's all gone digital. So whoever invented that did very well for probably 10 years, maybe 12 years, maybe more, maybe 20 years. But anyway, it's gone now. You couldn't find one of them now. The bicycle, I remember when those bikes came in the 70s, and they were dangerous, but they were very much in demand, the chopper. And I remember my brother, my friends crying, trying to get one of those because they were beautiful and they were fashion, and 2 people could sit on them. And now they're gone as well. I think they lasted possibly 10 years, maybe 15, but they're gone now. So the product does die. Pricing is very important. I did talk about place. Okay, pricing is very important, right? It's really important. You can underprice, believe it. And if you underprice, you will lose credibility. And they will think if it's that cheap, it can't be any good. And you will lose money. You can overprice and not get the business. But the first thing you have to do is work out your costs and know the price. That's very important. So pricing is critical, and it's a major area of study, but it's very important. You then need to know how to promote your business. And you need to segment the market and find out who your customers are or could be, and you segment the market, and you then promote your business. So look, there are various ways to promote your business. You can have a website, you can take out newspaper ads, you can network, you can contact people, you can break down the market, segment the market, find out where are my customers. There are 8 billion people in the world. You could sell your services worldwide. There are 8 billion people, but not all 8 billion is interested in your service. So you need to find out how many people are interested in your service, and it's not going to be 8 billion. So what you need to do then is you need to then decide which country am I going to sell to. So if you're going to sell in Ireland, there are 5 million people in the Republic and another million in the North. So you've got 6 million people in total in Ireland. Not all 6 million people are interested in your service. So you then need to narrow down the 6 million people to, let's say, 100. If you could narrow it down to 100, I'd say you'd be doing well. Those 100 are the people that need my service, whatever the figure is. And you then start targeting them, phoning them up, sending them emails, getting to know them, making them aware of what you're selling and staying in contact with them and delivering a good product. So there's the 4 P's of marketing, a summary of it anyway. Okay?
Yeah.
That makes sense to you?
Yes, it does. We've actually started segmenting our, like building a customer persona recently. So we're using Facebook, Google Analytics, that we can target the exact customers for that exact service they might be interested. Because we're offering, 2 types of services which can be offered to 2 totally opposite type of businesses. So we needed to find a way how we can segment those businesses so that we show only relevant ads.
Yes, of course. Yeah, you have to segment the market. It's very important.
Yeah.
But there's another thing I'd like to say to you, right? It's very important. And a lot of companies don't do this, but it's very important. You should evaluate your customers, and you could use a simple thing. All of this can be kept very, very simple, but the important thing is that you do it. You should use a star rating for your customers. So you should have, like the hotels, 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, 1-star, okay? And you should then get a list of all your customers and rate them against the stars. Give them all stars, rate them. And important would be the people that pay on time. That's very important. So you rate them all on that. And then ease of doing business with. And you have various ways of evaluating your customers.
Yeah.
And a mistake that companies make is they don't drop customers. So for example, I can't tell you what to do, but one of the things that companies could consider would be, after they have rated their customers, and if they have customers in the 5-star and in the 4-star and in the 3-star, they should start then to drop the customers that only have 2 stars and 1 stars. Just drop them and not deal with them, because they're not worth it. If they're causing you so many problems, just get rid of them and don't do business with them anymore, because that is a big mistake, to work with bad customers. And you have your ways of evaluating them, and payment is one way of evaluating them. Ease of doing business with is another way. And you could have 5 attributes that you want to use to evaluate your customers.
Yeah, I've actually done that 5 times so far. Even
Have
though
you?
we're a small business, I need to make sure, that every minute of my time is not
Wasted.
on unnecessarily. So I had to drop 5 customers so far.
Very good. It's a good thing to drop customers, I'll tell you.
Yeah, because I've the first time I've dropped the first client, I've noticed that I actually had more time where I could focus on the important side of the business.
Yes.
Not having to deal with unnecessary pressure. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay. All right. I know there are many tools for evaluating the market. Okay, so these are tools that you should consider. So one thing that you should do is you should do a SWOT analysis of your own company. So you should evaluate your company for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So you go through and you evaluate your strengths, and then you look at how you can capitalize on those strengths. You then look at opportunities that the company has, and you capitalize on those opportunities. You then evaluate the threats to the business, and you put in mitigating measures to defeat the threats. And then you look at the weaknesses in the company and you look at ways of correcting those weaknesses. Now, there's another thing called PESTLE. Are you familiar with PESTLE?
I've done it once in college.
Yes, okay.
I haven't used it. I've used only the SWOT more often.
Right, okay. Well, PESTLE basically is just for evaluating the market. So you look at let's say you do an analysis of Ireland. So you look at the political situation in Ireland, because politics is important. In Ireland, the politics are very suitable, are very favorable towards people that are in business. They do offer a lot of help to businesses through the local area partnerships and things like that. You look at the Irish economy. Is it growing? Is it sustainable? Is it a good place to do business in? You look at the social, the society, the culture. You look at the technology, and Ireland is fairly advanced and continues to be. You look at the environment, environmental law. You look at legal, which is basically the law relative to setting up and running a business. And there is a lot of legislation in Ireland that you have to be aware of. There is health and safety legislation. There is road traffic. There is employment legislation. There is revenue. There's many legislation that you need to be aware of. But overall, Ireland is very friendly for setting up and running a business. And so is England. And so is America. They're all pro-business. And so is Europe. So politically, the PESTLE analysis, we're in a pretty good state. Now, we do have the virus, and it's costing, I was going to say it's costing millions, billions, but it's costing trillions. And we don't know how things are going to work out after that. But look, we have to be hopeful. We've gone through bad times before. We have to be hopeful, and we have to assume that things are going to work out okay, because the world is not going to stop evolving. And we will always continue doing something. But you will have to be aware of how this thing is going to impact on your business and put the right measures in place.
Yeah.
Okay, another thing that you should do for your business is a thing called Porter's 5 Forces on the right-hand side there. So you should do this model. So in the middle, competitive rivalry within an industry. So you're in an industry, so you need to look at the rivalry, the competition within your industry, and how you can rise above it. You look at, on the left-hand side, the bargaining power of suppliers. That's the people that are supplying to you. How what a grip do they have on you? Or have you got 3 suppliers for every product that you need? And you're in control. You don't want your suppliers to be in control. You want to be in control. You also look at the bargaining power of customers. So for example, I could be one of your customers, but in your business, I have a huge choice. There's many companies that do what you do. So why would I go to you when there are other people doing it? So you need to kind of offer your advantages and what you can do better. Threat of new entrants. So you're in a business, but who knows that the next guy down the road is thinking of going into this business. So you need to be aware of that. And threat of substitutes. So I don't think there's a substitute product for what you're doing. I think that you're doing what you're doing, and I don't think there's anybody that can come along and offer something different. Although you never know, you have to be aware of, are there other ways of doing it? You have to be aware of substitutes. Substitutes would be, for example, all right, in simple terms, people drinking coffee. Well, tea is always a substitute for coffee.
Yeah.
But not a real substitute, because people just like their coffee. But let's say lager, alcohol. There's many forms of lager. There's Budweiser's, there's Coors Light, there's many things. So if you're producing Budweiser, there is a substitute. And if you go into the pub and if you order a Budweiser and they say, sorry, we don't sell Budweiser. Okay, what's the next lager? We've got Coors Light. Yeah, that'll do fine. You'll be happy enough with that. Right, you need to look at accounts, and you don't need to be an accountant, but you do need to understand accountancy in a simple term. So you need to know your initial setup costs. So you just add up the costs of setting up the business. You need to be able to do a simple cash flow projection. Because initially, when you set up a business, you're going to be out of pocket. And you might be out of pocket for 3 years. And that's how you work out your break-even point. When you break even, and then after that, you start to make a profit. You need to be able to do a profit and loss account, balance sheet. But you don't have to be an accountant, because we can't be good at everything. But you might have to employ an accountant and take advice in that area, because there's no point in trying to do everything yourself. Sometimes it's a good idea to outsource. And that is one of the skills of leadership, the ability to delegate. Some people don't have that skill and they pay the price for it.
Yeah.
So Lionel, is there anything you'd like to add then from what we've covered?
So far, no. As I said previously, I would have one question in relation to the company culture, and also when rating the customers. Let's say we're targeting 5 stars.
Yes, 5 stars, yes.
How do we make those 5 stars trust that we'll provide the best service to them, even though we're a startup? Because we're in an industry where we need to show that we're capable of providing the service from start to finish.
Yes, well, basically you can. I mentioned networking. So if you want to evaluate a potential customer, that's easy enough to do. You network, contacts, you phone up people that you know that know them, and you ask about them, and you go to their website and you find out who their customers are, and you can take up references. And the other thing is as well, if you are going to do business with them, you are right to say to them, you have to be careful here now with not offending them. You can say to them, well, look, can I get a credit agreement with you? And could you give me 2 contacts for a reference? And then you can take up the reference. It's a bit like employing someone. It's the same thing as because you're dealing with people. So it's the same thing. There is a bit of risk involved in it and a bit of intuition. And one of the things a leader should be able to do, and it's in that chart, the ability to make or to take calculated risks.
Right.
Calculated risks in the sense that you will evaluate the risk, and it will not be a reckless risk. It will be a calculated risk. So you look at their website, first of all. Now, everybody does their best to do a glorious website, although some people make a mess of it, but we all want to paint a good picture of ourselves. So you go to the website, that's the first place. You find out who their customers are. You then phone up some of their customers and you take up references. And you will follow the media, follow the news, see if they've got any bad publicity, check their accounts. You can get their accounts. Their accounts are available in the CRO. If they're listed, if they're a limited company, you can get access to their accounts. You can get that in 5 minutes online. You can go through their accounts. You can get your accountant. If you're not doing accounts, you'll have an accountant. So you could say to your accountant, can you please check these out for me? Delegate it. Delegate the job to somebody else, check them out. Are they worth working for? And maybe if they're a new business, you could have a policy of, well, look, we have a policy in the company, new businesses, we require 40% deposit. So there's various things you can do, but it's tact. Do you understand the word tact?
Yes.
Yes, it's interpersonal skills, leadership skills, communication skills, human relation skills, being tactful about it. If you're going to say to them that you need a deposit, you have to be very tactful about it.
Yeah.
You have to be very polite about it. You have to be very nice about it. And you have to be very altruistic about it. And you have to ask for a deposit without offending them.
Makes sense.
What's your other question?
So we're a startup business, and we just need to find a way how to make those 5 star clients. Let's say we have a list of those 5 clients, which I know we want them.
Yes.
How do we make them believe that we're a good fit for them, that we're capable of providing the service?
Well, everybody starts somewhere. So, I mean, in the early 80s, there was no Ryanair. And today, they're the biggest airline in the world. 20 years ago, there was no Google, no Facebook, no Amazon, no who else? They didn't exist. Now they're the biggest companies in the world. So you have to start somewhere, and it's about you. And it's about you going and meeting those people and making a good impression and telling them what you do and having some examples and putting together some of the products that you are selling, and not to give away any confidential information. But let's say that you have worked for another customer and that you have a product that you did for them, then you can bring that along because it is your product and you can show it to the client as a sample, but you can edit it to take away the customer's name. Yeah. And that you're not breaching confidentiality or giving away someone else's product. Because if you have already produced details for another customer, then effectively they paid you for it. It's their product. So you can ask for their permission to maybe show this to other potential customers to develop your business. And if they give you permission to do it, then you're free to do it. Yeah. But you could, for example, make up a drawing for a fictitious project.
Yeah.
Yes. And then you can show it to the whole world because it belongs to no one. So you could take a road in Ireland somewhere off Google Maps and pretend that the road's going to be widened or narrowed. And you could then put up your traffic management plans and you could detail it and you could digitize it and you could do traffic modeling and you can do the whole shebang. And you say, this is what we're capable of. And then you're not breaching any confidentiality because it's your product and it's for a fictitious project. And then you can show that and you can say to them, this is what I can do for you. I did this for a job and this is what we do. You can do that.
Yeah.
That takes time. I mean, that's going to take you a week to put that together. But look, it's a week. It's a week well invested because it's going to be your sample of what you're selling. And you can also get references from other people that you work for and show them that. It's not that difficult to break into a market if you have the right approach and you make the right contact in potential customers. Because potential customers are always keen to hear from other people.
Yeah.
But like you have to, it's hard work. I mean, for example, when I went looking for work, when I set up my own business or when I went looking for work, I estimated that getting customers could be as low as 10%. I might have to contact 100 before I would get 10 customers because you don't know who's going to take you on. But you have to be prepared to do that. But I didn't need 10 customers. 5 would do for me. So I'd have to spend a week contacting 100 potential customers so that I would get 10. And I can only work for one at any given time. But it takes effort, patience, perseverance. And that's one of the qualities that I had listed in the leadership chart. Perseverance and patience, and the ability to stick with the right strategy, and the ability to withstand setbacks. Because if you now started to develop your business next Monday, from Monday morning onwards, and kept contacting people for a whole week, you'd be worn out at 5 o'clock on Friday if that's all you did for a whole week, contacting potential customers. You'd be worn out, but you might not get the benefits on Friday at 5 o'clock, but you're planting the seed and you'd be surprised what will come back even in 2 months' time. And another point, if you go to work at 8 o'clock on a Monday morning and you finish at 5, and if you were going to do business development, what's the best time to contact potential customers in that 50-hour period? From 8 o'clock on Monday till 5 o'clock on Friday, what's the best time to contact potential customers?
10 o'clock in the morning.
Well, what morning?
Every morning.
No. Monday morning is not a good morning because people generally, the theory is that people generally don't like Mondays. And there's a song about it. I don't like Mondays. So Monday is not actually a good day for business development. Believe it or not, because people go into work, and some people, I love my job, I really enjoy it, I love going in, but some people don't. So the worst thing you could do is phone up some grumpy manager on a Monday morning when he's in bad mood after suffering from a severe hangover after a heavy weekend. So from Wednesday onwards is a good time to contact people. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Friday afternoon is a good time because people are looking forward to the weekend, and they're looking forward to what they're doing at the weekend, and they're more friendly on a Friday afternoon.
That's good.
Do you know supermarkets?
Yes.
When you go to supermarkets, do you know, I'm sure you've noticed this, is there a supermarket that you go to regularly?
Yes.
There is, right? Do you notice that they move everything around?
Yes.
You notice that? Do you know why they do that?
No.
Right. I tell you why they do that, right? I'm a fairly sort of standard person that I always buy the same thing all the time. I'm fairly sort of consistent and fairly sort of rigid in my ways. So it would suit me if I go to the supermarket and run around with a trolley and throw in what I need, right? But I can't do that because they keep moving everything around, right? So if I go and buy tea, I know where to keep the tea. So I will go to the place where they keep the tea, and I discovered that the tea isn't there. But what they have put there is a packet of Mikado biscuits. And I thought, oh, they look nice. I'm in the mood for them. So you'll throw a packet of them into the basket. They keep moving things around so that you will see more products and that you will walk the whole supermarket. And it works for them. It's a bit like putting sweets at the checkout till. And pensioners go shopping. You said 10 o'clock. Pensioners go shopping at 10 o'clock on a Friday morning. That's when they go shopping. They go shopping on a Friday morning. So supermarkets change the layout of the supermarket on a Friday morning, and they put everything that pensioners are likely to buy at the entrance. So that when you walk in, the pensioners walk in, everything that they are likely to use is at the entrance so that they'll throw it all into the basket to increase sales. So they're aware of all these tricks.
So they're using the psychological
Yes, yes, of course, yeah. Oh, yeah. But it works. I mean, it works. It definitely works. I often go into the supermarket, really. If I sat in the car before I go into the supermarket, and if you said to me, right, how much money do you need to buy? How much money do you need to buy what you need? And if I was to add it up, I'd say I probably need 40 euro to buy what I need, right? I never go to the supermarket and spend 40 euro. I'll spend 70.
Yeah.
Because they'll make me go around the whole supermarket and walk the whole supermarket to find what I need, because the way they keep moving things around, and I'll end up buying things that I don't need and things that they put in the shelf where I thought the tea bags were.
Yeah.
So it's also, so you need to use psychology in your business, and you need to find the things that's going to help you to develop your business. But leadership is important. And that chart, that model, to find out who you truly are. And once you know who you truly are, then you can say, right, this is who I am. These are my strengths. I'm going to develop my strengths further, and I'm certainly going to try and overcome my weaknesses. And if it came back, say that you were weak in accountancy, if, say, for example, then that's not a problem. You just say, well, fine, I'll have to employ an accountant. I'll get someone else to do the accounts. And that's no harm anyway. Get someone else to do the accounts.
Yeah.
So I'd like to say to you, thank you very much. And we have been together for an hour. I recorded this presentation and I think I will post it on YouTube, and I can send you the link and you can look over it again.
Don't worry.
And if you have any questions, then you are free to ask me a few more questions before you go, if you'd like to.
So the company culture, who sets up the company culture?
It happens automatically. It happens. It just happens. If you bring a group of people together, the culture just happens. It happens automatically.
So it happens.
It happens. Yeah. You bring a company, right? If you have a company and if you keep employing people and you keep bringing them in, people coming together will create a culture automatically. And it can become totally sick and dysfunctional unless you have a plan to create a healthy culture.
Healthy culture.
Yeah. So for example, in 1996, I went to Africa and I had probably the biggest experience of different culture in my life. I went to Gambia, Gambia in Africa, where Kunta Kinte came from, the slave trade originated. And I was living in Southampton at the time. And I had to drive from Southampton to London, Gatwick. And I drove up the M3. It was packed with traffic. I drove around the M25 and it was packed with traffic. I could hardly find a parking space at Gatwick. It was packed with cars. I then walked into the airport and I was scared that people would walk over me if I didn't get out of the way. It was just chaos, pure chaos. And then you queue up to go on the plane and there was a massive crowd. There was 250 or 300 people going on the plane. There was a massive queue. Then there was a massive queue when you got into the aircraft to put your baggage on the overhead hanger and to get a seat and to finally settle. And then there was a mad rush to get everybody on board, close the door, go through the safety procedure and take off. And then eventually we took off and we arrived in Africa. So we arrived in Africa. It was warm. Everything was so slow. It took ages for the suitcases to come. The plane landed. You walked down the stairs. You walked into the open air. There was an old lorry that took the suitcases from the plane into an open building, like an old shed. There was then a bus that took us from the airport to the holiday resort. Going along on the bus was driving slow. You could see people basking in the sun, fluting around, easy OC, nobody running, no hurry, people talking, people chatting, laid back, easy going. No pressure, no hurry. Everything was going to be tomorrow, and just totally different culture. So, like, if you tried to make the people in Africa fast and get the people at Gatwick to slow down, it would be nearly impossible. So culture just happens. Culture will happen anyway. But what you need to do in a company is create a healthy culture. You have to be always working towards the creation of a healthy culture. And I work for a lot of companies in Scotland, England, and America, and even in Ireland too. I have seen companies with very poor culture. And if they work towards creating a healthy culture, they would become far more efficient, effective, and profitable, without a doubt.
Yeah. And does the company culture is set from the like, would you put the company values in the same category with the company culture?
Well, yes. I mean, the values create the culture in the sense that, yeah, let's say the values. Let's say you want to agree on the values, right? Values. So let's say that you make values: safety, quality, creativity, innovation, progression, fun, honesty, ethics. Let's say that you make that your values. That's your values, for example.
Yes.
Okay, that's the company values, right? Okay.
Yeah.
You then need to employ people with those values. So the values, the
So
people, the
my apologies.
qualities of the people that you employ must match the values that you've set.
All right, so you match.
Yeah, they have to align. So for example, like, I mean, if you take countries in the world without, well, let's say countries in the world, there is a corruption scale.
Yeah.
And there are countries that are known for corruption. There is, for example, Nigeria, Russia, Italy, America even. They're known. Yeah. They have a high percentage of corruption. Yeah. So, like, if you have a culture of honesty, right? If you employ, let's say, somebody from Italy, Russia, Ukraine, America, that is, or Colombia, and I don't have anything against those countries. I'm just using them as an example. But if you employ individuals from those countries that are corrupt, then you're not going to have an honest culture because the people are corrupt. So corruption and honesty are polar opposites of the same diagram. So you can't have a healthy, honest culture if you employ people that are corrupt. For example, if you want a culture of safety, if you want a culture of safety, then you need to employ people that are safety conscious and that are serious about safety, that are serious about it. I mean, one of the problems with health and safety is lip service. Do you understand lip service?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, yes, God. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I definitely. Oh, yeah. Very interested in safety. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. There's no shortfall in safety here. There's no shortfall in safety here. It's lip service. But what do they really do? Quality is say what you do and do it. We all say what we do, but do we do it? So culture is, right? Culture is say what you do and do it.
And do it.
And do it. Yeah. So if you now interviewed every company in the world and say to them, do you have a safety culture? Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely. Do you take quality serious? Oh, definitely. Oh, God, yeah. But do they in reality?
In reality, yeah.
In reality, yeah. So there is a percentage of countries and companies that give lip service to quality and to safety. And see this coronavirus.
Yeah.
A lot of people will say that they take it serious and that they act safely and sensibly and that they do wear their mask and that they do socially distance. You have no idea of the large number of people that I come into contact with that don't care about this virus and they don't take any precautions. Yeah. They don't take any precautions. No.
Yeah. And I've noticed with a couple of companies, looking at their website, they would look as the perfect company, and in real life, nothing is respected. So that's why now it makes sense that the values create the company culture.
But there's another quotation that you have to be aware of. I think it's Peter Lee that said it. He said, a fish rots from the head.
Yeah.
So if you leave a fish lying out in the sun and it starts to rot at the head.
Yeah.
That means that if you have poor leadership, then the whole company will be rotten. So you need good leadership first. So you need to lead by example. If you lead by example, then the rest will fall into line and they will follow you. Well, they have a better chance of following you. But for example, if the leader is not interested in proper culture, then no one else will care.
Yeah.
But the leader needs to be interested. And if the leader is interested, then you have a great chance.
Yeah. Makes all of it makes sense now.
Very good.
I remember the first person I employed. I've started practicing to see what I do, if they will follow, and if I don't do, they will still follow. So it was a nice test at the beginning.
Well, that's what they say about quality. One of the measures, one of the ways of measuring quality is what you do when you're not being watched.
Yeah.
They say that's quality. People doing the right thing when they're not being audited or supervised.
Exactly, because you can't be there all the times.
Yes. Anyway, I hope you got some benefit out of this, and I hope this will help you on your journey.
I did. Thanks very much for having me.
Thank you. I have a recording of it now anyway. I didn't advertise it very well because it was the Easter week, but look, I have a recording of it now, so I can let some people
Would you mind forward it on to me as well?
Would I mind what?
Just forward on to me the video as well.
Well, I'll put it up on YouTube, and then
Perfect.
I'll send you the link, and then you can watch it on you. Can you send me a text message?
Sure.
You have my number. My website is eamoncoyle.ie, www.eamoncoyle.ie. I
have your website.
Well, go to my phone number, 086 82 12261. That's 086 82 12261. And if you send me a text, WhatsApp, then once I load this to YouTube, I will then look at it and I'll send you the link on YouTube.
That's fine. Perfect.
And then you can watch it again.
Yeah. Thanks very much.
If you have any questions, you're always free to give me a call.
Yeah, will do. Perfect.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Take care.
Goodbye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.